Two guys in their early 50s with one dream: to achieve middle-aged sporting glory. This is the Missing Links Golf Show. Would you actually describe yourself as a dreamer, Andy Walker?
Yeah, I've been described as a dreamer before, and I do have plenty of dreams. So yeah, I would definitely describe myself as a dreamer, and like a goal setter, obviously. But you've got to have dreams before you have goals, I think. So I mean, how do you know what your goals are if you don't have dreams?
Well, this is a very, very good point.
What comes first, the goal or the dream?
Yes, you described yourself as having many dreams, yet the intro describes you and me as having only one dream, and that is middle-aged sporting glory.
Yep.
Someone's not telling the truth.
Well, I mean, it is one of many dreams.
I
think.
Maybe we should re-record. We should re-record.
Yeah.
Two guys with one of many dreams.
Exactly.
Oh, I actually like that. I might see if we can pull that off. That's pretty funny. Anyway, here we are. We are talking about the one dream, which is middle-aged sporting glory, and the steps that we are attempting to take that will bring us further along that pilgrimage. Andy Walker.
You know what you've got to do first before, like, in order to achieve that?
What?
Actually play golf.
Yeah, that's a good point.
and I've been struggling to do that over the last few weeks. I've just been, I mean, this is, and as the pilgrims know, by my business goes in quarterly cycles, and we've got our lodgement month this month, and I'm going through, and this week in particular, I'm going through a particularly busy week. So it's sort of, I'm still keen to try and get to Castle Hill on the 24th. Next week should slow down a little bit. And then just looking at my calendar, I've only got the one client booked in for that week of the 24th, but I'm not sure how much preparation I'm going to get in for it.
Well, fascinating as preparation for seeing a client may be, can we talk about golf?
I wasn't preparing to see a client. I was preparing to actually play on the 24th and just seeing what my golf preparation.
Okay, my bad. Sorry, I thought we were still talking about clients.
Well, we sort of they get in the way, and
they do.
And this is the problem with having clients is,
they do.
Or you know,
any kind of a job,
or
any kind of a job, really.
Staff or
yeah.
Yeah.
All of the above.
I have said to many people that if you can find me a business where I don't have to be there and I don't have to employ anyone, just let me know. And no one has actually come back to me with anything yet. It's been pretty disappointing, actually. I'm disappointed with the response.
I'm with you on that one. I mean, if anyone out there has got a gig going that'll pay, I don't know, at least $200K a year, let's be honest. If anyone's got that and it requires no work, zero output, and no attendance at the office, give us a call.
And you don't have to employ anyone.
You don't have to actually do anything other than continue on our merry way of playing golf. If anyone's got that going, give us a call. Happy to send a resume over. So anyway, moving on. Yep. Andy Walker, last episode, we were not prepared to do the update for the yearly championship for the month of January.
No. And here we are, we're recording, it's the 11th of the month, and I feel like we've been a bit tardy with the results because we didn't actually get to the December results until quite late last month. So how do you feel about our performance?
Oh, look, we've been accused of holding these things over for multiple episodes so that people will continue to listen and download further episodes. And all I can say to that is, like, seriously, if you've met us, we are not that cunning. Probably not even smart enough to have come up with that strategy. So that's definitely not deliberate.
Doesn't that require episode planning?
Yes, it does. And if you've listened to any of the previous 111 episodes, you'll know that that's not high on the agenda. However, today, this morning, whenever you're listening to it, we are prepared and we are going to take you through the January results of the greatest amateur / professional, if you want to be, global Stableford podcast-based competition known to man. That is the Missing Links Golf Show Yearly Championship. It's exciting, Andy Walker.
It is. I sort of get the feeling that I'm not going to contend for the month of January.
What was your highest score in January? Yeah?
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
That was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big
crickets.
That's a big nothing there. Pilgrims.
Not cricket.
Crickets. Yeah.
Crickets.
So what we're going to do, we're going to go through the results, and I can tell you this, Andy Walker, there's some red hot results in the month of January. This is shaping up to be probably the toughest month ever in the history of this competition to get a point.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
What I will also say is that we've had a few ties which need to be broken. And you will know, if you've been following in the Missing Links Golf Show podcast Facebook group on the poll, that the majority decision, I won't call it unanimous because it definitely was not that, the majority decision was to settle disputes such as this with the dice of truth. So that's what will be happening live on the show.
I thought it was the die of truth. Of course, it's you've only got one.
I've only got
die.
one, so it's a die. Technically, it's a die, but die of truth doesn't sound great. I mean, anyway, I'm not going to make any political jokes, but you know where I'm going.
I mean, there is like a little bit of a rhyme there, like with we settled the tie with the die.
Oh, the tie dye, coming out of the 1970s.
So there's got to be something in that, surely.
Potentially there is. Yeah. The die of destiny, which we all do at some point. Anyway, let's get to the results, Andy Walker, and let me take you through them. And to everyone that put in an entry into a scorecard in for the month of January, thank you for doing so. There was so much chatter on the Facebook group, which was outstanding, some quality banter amongst the pilgrims. If you're not involved, get involved. Just join the Facebook group, the Missing Links Golf Show podcast. We've had a bunch of new members that have joined during January and a lot of scorecards that have come in, which has been really, really cool. So we're going to go through some results. Obviously, not everyone's name will get read out because there are just too many. So we're going to stick with the point scorers, which is the top six. Of course, in first you get 10 points, second you get 7, third you get 5, and then fourth, fifth, sixth is 3, 2, 1, and we tally points up each month. The highest points tally at the end of the year wins the yearly championship, which will get you a prize. And last year's winner, James Armstrong, I did give you a shout out and ask for your postal address so that we could send you your prize. Haven't done that yet, but I'm on it. It's on the to-do list. We'll get there.
Excellent.
We'll get there. So anyway, there's a lot to play for. So this month, Andy Walker, you might remember I made 36 points during the month. Do you remember that? That was in the middle of the month. That. Yeah. Doesn't put me inside the top 6.
Seriously?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Also, Pilgrim Matty Woodbridge, also with a 36-pointer in the middle of the month, also not in the top 6. Heartbreaking.
Yeah. Well,
another one.
What was that off the stick?
Oh well, he was playing off +1 that day.
Yeah. So shoot under par.
Don't get on the scoreboard.
Not good enough for points.
Not good enough.
It's a tough gig. This.
Well, it gets even better. Paul, new member, Paul Sam. New member of the group, 37 points he made. Doesn't get on the scoreboard. It's outside the top 6.
Okay.
So we go to our first playoff to decide places 5th and 6th. Andy Walker, 5th and 6th. And in this playoff, we have got 4 players, all who scored 38 points. So 2 of them are going to miss out.
Far out. That is
Nuts.
I'm shocked, right? I am honestly shocked that 38 points is going to miss out on points.
2 of them.
Yeah, well.
2 of them are going to miss out. So in the playoff, and I'm going to call you to the tee, gentlemen, because we're going for our first virtual playoff. So
is this going to be like a match play type of scenario where we get sort of 2 and 2 and you play for the final?
no, this is just straight stroke play elimination.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So higher score wins or lower score wins?
Front 9, back 9.
Are we playing golf? Or
We're playing golf. We're playing
cricket?
golf. We're playing golf.
So does lower score win then?
Yes. So if someone shoots a 2 on the first hole and the other players shoot a 3 and a 4, then the 2 wins. Yeah?
Okay.
You with me?
Yep.
Now, bear in mind, we've got to settle 2 positions here. So we could settle it in 1 hole or we could settle it in many holes. We will find out. And this is the first time we've played the dice of truth or the die of truth. So it could also be the last. We'll see how it pans out. Pilgrims, I want your feedback. So here we go. Calling in this order to the tee will be Kerrod Purcell, followed by Alex McCormack. And then we've got Tim Murray and Pete Powell, new members of the Missing Links Golf Show Facebook group. So Kerrod is going to play the hole first. Let's see what he gets. Andy Walker. Oh, Kerrod. It's not a good start. Andy Walker, I'm going to show you this.
Oh, a 6.
Kerrod's made a 6 on the first playoff. Oh, what are you doing, Big K?
Wow. KP, what's going on there?
Okay, next on the tee, Alex McCormack from New South Wales. Ooh. Andy Walker.
Ooh, 3.
That's a 3. That's it's not a bad score. It's beatable. It's not a bad score. All right, Tim Murray from New South Wales, you're on the tee. Oh.
Is it a 6?
It's another 6.
Wow. 6 is a popular score. So do you think these guys are nervous?
Yeah, clearly.
A couple of 6s.
I mean, it's the first playoff we've ever done. They must be absolutely diabolically nervous. All right, so Pete Powell from Melbourne, but originally from the UK. So, Pete, welcome to Australia. Oh, got a result. Andy Walker, that's a 4.
A 4.
For Pete.
They're reasonably high scores for...
It's not great golf, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It was par 3 as well, that one.
So, Alex
is in 5th. Pete is in 6th, so opens his account, and then we've got Kerrod and Tim tied for 7th. We're not going to do a playoff for 7th.
You're not going to play off with 0 points?
Because you don't get a point anyway, so who cares? Okay. So, well, that was exciting. I only took 1 hole as well, which was even better. So now we move to 3rd and 4th is another countback.
Wow. Okay.
Both on 39 points. This is a big one too. Yep. So I'm going to call to the tee for this playoff. James Armstrong, defending champion.
Yep.
And Lucas Anderson, not from Western Australia, but in fact from South Australia, who came 3rd last year.
I'm glad we're still on that.
You know, when you're on a good thing. So James to tee off first, and let's see how he goes. Ooh. It's a 3.
Ooh, 3.
It's a 3. Andy
That's a
Walker.
winning score from the last playoff.
We'll find out. Lucas, take us away. What do you got? Drum roll. We've actually got a drum roll sound effect we could put in if we really wanted to.
Yeah.
Andy Walker.
A 2.
Oh, look at that. Which means James is in 4th place. Lucas is in 3rd place.
Nice.
Fantastic. So we've got 2nd and 1st, Andy Walker. We don't need a playoff for this. I can tell you in 2nd place is Peter Abraham from New South Wales. Again, new member of the group. Welcome, Pete. Well done. 7 points to your yearly championship tally. And in first place with a cracking...
How many points did he...
He's got 40 points.
40 points.
40
doesn't
points.
even win.
Doesn't win.
Wow.
Because in first place, Jeremy Dixon from New South Wales with 42 points.
That's pretty decent.
That is extraordinary. There you go, Pilgrims.
Well done, Jeremy.
Yearly championship done and dusted for January. So that's exciting. How did you find the dice of truth or the die of truth there, Andy Walker?
Oh, it was pretty exciting. I mean, I think there were some nerves there that just needed just to settle down a bit. I think, the playoff participants have learned a little bit about how they're just going to move forward with how if they're in a future playoff. I think there's a lot to learn from that little segment. So
yeah, get lucky.
Yeah, let us know, Pilgrims. What can you do? What have you learned from that dice or the die of truth?
Die of truth, die of destiny, the tie die. I mean, I can only imagine that it is absolutely champagne podcasting to listen back to, but we'll find out. Anyhow, next topic for discussion, Andy Walker. This is a bit of an out there one, and I have been attempting to find out, as we've discussed on a number of occasions, whether or not I am a left-handed putter or a right-handed putter.
Yep.
Difficult question to answer.
So does that mean you've actually had a crack on the golf course rather than just...
Well, you might recall...
In a practice setting?
You might recall in previous episodes we've had this conversation and I talked about my desire to actually get out on the course and test this out.
Yeah.
What happened the other night is that two of the Pilgrims popped around to have a little bit of a look at the High Performance Centre with the new square launch monitor in there. And by way of thank you, they left behind a right-handed putter.
Nice.
So that was kind of forcing me to call the bluff on this one and not just talk about it, but to get out and do it. So I thought what I would do is I would go out and play 9 holes, which I did after work yesterday, and I would just play tee to green normally, and then when I got on the green, wherever the ball was, I would then putt one way and then redo it the other way. And each hole, I would alternate which hand went first, so as to try and even out the reading element. Okay, because obviously it's a little bit easier when you're following. So, do you want me to tell you how it went, or should we just leave it there?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's just leave that, next on
a cliffhanger, and we'll be back next week with the results. No, we'll take you through it. So I played Royal Dubbo. I played 1 to 9. Now, after my last round, where I scored, I think 25 points or something ridiculously bad like that
in the heat,
in the 45-degree heat,
a couple of Saturdays ago.
Yeah, and I was missing every drive right. The other day I haven't played since then, and so yesterday when I got out, I was actually starting to hit a bit of a cut again and missing a few drives left. But ball striking on the holes a lot better. I actually went around the 9 holes, Andy Walker in +2.
Nice.
So that was not bad. So that'll put the putting into perspective as we talk through the putting holes. So hole number 1, par 5, on in regulation. I had about a 15 to 18 foot birdie putt, and I 2-putted left-handed.
Yep.
Safe 2-putt, pretty much just a tap in. And then I putted right-handed, and I 2-putted right-handed. Well, actually, in fairness, it was the other way around because I started right-handed. I 2-putted right-handed, then I 2-putted left-handed.
So was it were they both about the same lag distance for your second putt, or was one better?
They were similar. I pushed my I think I pushed my right-handed putt slightly past the hole and left my left-handed putt slightly short of the hole.
Right.
So then I moved on to the second hole. Second hole, I got on, it was par 4, and I had left myself, I had to get up and down for bogey. So chipped on, had about a 6 foot slightly breaking bogey putt, which I sent you the video of earlier actually. So I'll post that on the Facebook page. And I putted left-handed first, and I dripped it in the front edge.
Yep.
And then I putted right-handed second, and I confidently struck it into the back of the cup, Andy Walker.
I did see that.
And is at that point,
nice stroke.
It was at that point that your response to my question of am I left or right-handed, you went, what did you say?
I think there was something along the lines of there's no comparison. Right-handed was way better.
Now, I'm interested to know, did you say that because you're just a parochial right-hander and you like to stir me up about being left-handed, or was that anything to do with the actual putting stroke that you witnessed?
Well, I see it was down at, I had a worm's eye view. So
you did, yeah.
I mean, without actually sort of seeing the putting stroke from like a normal angle, it's difficult to see. But certainly from the worm's eye view, the roll off the putter face was a lot better. I thought with the right-handed putting stroke. Now, obviously, with that, it's hard to ascertain, acceleration or deceleration when you're looking at it front on from ground level. But when I was looking at the roll of the putt, the roll of the putt certainly looked better right-handed than left.
Okay. So we move on to the third hole. So I made bogey. I got up and down for bogey, so I was 1 over at this point. We moved on to the third hole. Not the easiest of holes, to be perfectly honest. It's a bit of a long par 4 with a small green. Anyway, hit a drive on the left side of the fairway, hit a 5-iron into the green, into the centre of the green. It was a pretty good shot, actually. So I had about 35 feet for birdie. Now, in the conversations that we've had, my concern about putting right-handed is distance control. And that's where I thought, well, this is going to be an interesting one, actually, because the 35-footer, kind of uphill most of the way, breaking right to left, that'll be a bit of a tester for the distance control. So I was putting right-handed first, and I hit I didn't hit it hard enough, and I pulled it a little bit. I think I left it a bit low, and I left myself with about 6 feet. And I missed the 6-footer, pushed it through the break and 3-putted. But left-handed, lagged a nice one up to about 6 inches and tapped it in. So left-handed was 1 up at this point.
I mean, but at the end of the day, you haven't done a lot of practice right-handed.
I've done zero practice right-handed.
Yeah, that's to be expected. I mean, and you're right, distance control, when you've done no practice, distance control is going to be the hardest element of putting.
So we move on to the fourth hole. Again, sort of longish par 4, slight dogleg right. Hit my second just short left of the green, chipped on sort of over the bunker to a front pin. And I had about probably a 7 or 8 footer curling a little bit left to right. But I'll say this, standing on the 5th tee box just next to the green, there was a guy who was a single and he was walking, and he was clearly waiting for me to putt out and play through on the par 3 5th. So in fairness, I think I kind of rushed my process a little bit, wanting to just get out of there and move on, and knowing as well, as soon as I made a putt and I was going to pull the ball out and putt with the other way around, he would be standing there looking at me going, what on earth are you doing?
Yeah.
So on this one, fourth hole, so I'm putting left-handed first. Just missed the right edge, didn't play enough break. And then right-handed did exactly the same thing. So both of them were 2 putts for bogey. Again, not much to read into on that one, to be perfectly honest, because it's a bit of a speed effort. So we move on to the par 3 5th. So I hit a 9-iron kind of to the centre of the green. I would have been, I would say, about 18, 20 feet from the flag. And right-handed first, straight in the centre of the cup, Andy Walker for a bird.
Nice.
And
Good speed.
it was a really good putt, to be honest. It was probably the best putt that I hit, either handed or through the 9 holes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the stats show that, your stroke is better right-handed than left-handed. So, I mean,
And
that
that
makes a lot of
particular
sense.
example backed it up. So then I stepped up left-handed, and I actually hit a pretty good putt, but it just missed the left side. So I tapped in for par, left-handed with my birdie right-handed. So we move on to 6. On the 6th, I again hit the green in regulation, and I had about another 20, 25 footer. My left-handed putt, which went first, was pulled a bit to the right, but I probably was only a foot and a half away from the hole, so it was pretty easy tap in par. My right-handed putt, I've got to be honest, I thought it was in Andy Walker, and it just burned the right edge and just missed. So again, tapped in for par with that one, and at that point was kind of going, this is interesting. Feeling like Bambi just learning to walk, but nevertheless, quite interesting.
So after 6 holes, you've had exactly the same amount of putts. Of course, you've 2-putted every green with left-handed, and
I've 1-putted one of the
you've
greens.
had
So
and 3-putted.
Yeah. So I've had all 2 putts bar the 1 putt left-handed, and then
the bogey putt on
yeah,
2.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
and then right-handed, I've had a 3-putt and 2 1-putts.
Yeah. But 2 of your best putts have been right-handed.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
Correct. So we move on to 7 par 5. So I hit my drive into the left rough, and you've got that overhanging tree trouble. And it was a similar shot to remember in the Macquarie Cup when I said I can cut this around the tree, and I did it again, exactly the same.
Nice.
But I wasn't quite as far up because it caught a little bit of the branch. So I was about 100. I was 143 meters to the pin. It was a back pin, and I've hit a 7-iron, and it's landed about a foot left and long of the hole, and then kind of on the second hop stopped. But I'm about 7 feet behind the hole with a downhill slider. Which way is it sliding? I hear you ask, because I'm putting with both hands. It could be either way. It's actually it was sliding for the right-hander, sliding away, and then it was curling back in for the left-hander. So I putted right-handed first, and I probably pulled it slightly just through the break, burnt the left edge, rolled out another probably 2 feet past, but still a tap-in par at that point. Then left-handed, should have been an easier putt left-handed, got the line right, but left it on the front lip, could you believe?
Wow. Okay.
So both 2 putts. So then we get to 8. 8's the par 3, that long par 3 down the hill. Hit a really good 5-iron again to the centre of the green, and then had, again, probably 2 putts of about 18 foot, roughly, 18, 20 foot. And then both of them, they'll probably both, to be honest, quite similar putts, just finished sort of, 6 inches past the hole. Yeah. So almost an identical putt. So I couldn't really read too much into that. Then we get to...
So right with 1 hole to play...
It's even.
Right.
It's even. Because I've gone 2, 2, 2, 2 from 6, 7 and 8. And that was even before.
But you're 1 in front with your...
No.
Your right-handed.
No. Because we both 1-putted on 2.
Yep.
Right-handed 3-putted on 3 to the left-handed 2-putt. So lefties were in front then, and then
and then you 1-putted,
and then halved, and then I 1-putted. Yeah. So So 1 hole to play, it's all tied up. So on the 9th, hit a decent drive through the corner, hit my second into the greenside bunker, splashed out again high side of the flag, which was a tricky, again a sliding putt for the right-hander. And I think it's fair, I've got this one on video as well, and I think it's fair to say that whilst both putts missed, the right-handed putt looked like it was more of a chance.
Yep.
So all that being said, it's I'm just going on the replay here.
So both, so you're even with both right hand and left hand, but you've hit better putts right-handed.
So the thing which is interesting, right? And yes, 17 putts apiece, right-handed and left-handed. And that is for someone that's been putting left-handed their whole life and then just
Yeah.
picked up a right-handed putter and started putting for the sake of it.
Yep.
So you've got to feel on handicap, there's like left-handed should have won that easily.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
The other thing that I would say is the right-handed putts were a little bit more aggressive to the hole. Not crazy aggressive, but they were definitely, I was striking them firmer. The other thing that I would say is it felt incredibly awkward. Even just getting your hands on the grip the right way around was weird.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that I would say is that reading the break normally is fine, but then, you know, when you stand over the ball and then you see what you think the break is, and that might confirm or otherwise. Right-handed, when I stood over the ball, the whole world looked tilted so strangely. So
but
that's bizarre.
Are you left or right eye dominant? Do you have a dominant eye?
Left.
Yeah. Okay. So effectively, when you're over the ball putting left-handed, your dominant eye is more looking down the line of the putt than what you are when you're right-handed.
There's an interesting,
that's very much that obviously alters your view, and from a comfort level, if you're looking down the line of the hole with your dominant eye, then yeah, I think you're going to feel, and I'm not necessarily saying that you're going to get a better result, but you're going to feel more at ease with your dominant eye.
I saw a very interesting little short. I think it was on Instagram. Greg Rose from the Titleist Performance Institute was doing a speech about dominant eyes and putting. Basically, what he was saying is that if you're let's call it your back eye, so if you're left-handed, your left eye, probably shouldn't say back eye. That's going to really make people think of the wrong thing. But anyway, your trail eye. If that is your dominant eye, then apparently you would tend to open your stance a bit.
Yep.
And it's basically getting the nose out of the way to be able to see the line.
Yep. Yeah. And that's what I do, because I'm right eye dominant.
Yeah.
And when I putt, I feel so awkward when I try and square myself up, and I always have done. And I see, say, someone like Adam Scott, who, has the broomy like I do, and he's very square.
Very square.
And I just can't do that. I really struggle. I feel like I'm aiming about a foot right of the hole, from 4 or 5 feet. If I'm square, I've got to open myself up, maybe 20 degrees, maybe closer to 30 degrees even, for me to feel as though I'm aimed up on the line that I want to. So yeah, that's very, very true.
Yeah, and obviously for me, then it's different putting right-handed, because then it's my lead side eye, which is dominant, which is definitely changing the visuals, 100% changing the visuals. So I guess the thing is, where to from here, Andy Walker? I would describe the test as completely and utterly inconclusive.
Yep.
Which is kind of surprising and kind of not in a lot of ways. It's only 9 holes. I don't think we're finished with this experiment just yet.
Look, I think that what's going to be the determinant factor is how does it go in a competition under pressure?
It's definitely not ready for that.
And unless you can answer that question, you're not going to know what, it's always going to be an inconclusive result. And, again, coming back to Adam Scott, I mean, he at times over the last, decade or so has gone back to the short putter for periods of time, but then relatively quickly goes back to the broomy. So obviously under pressure, the broomy works for him better than what the short putter does. So that's the only way that you're going to be able to really test out whether you're better right-handed or left-handed is to play some competition, like do some practice, obviously. I mean, there's no point going out there without practice, but maybe do a little bit of practice right-handed, then go and test it in competition. That's the only way you're going to find out.
Well, I think one thing that we did learn out of doing this test, and this is just an initial test, okay, so as I said, it's not the be-all and end-all of testing this. However, if I'd have gone out there and I was, leaving putts 10 feet short or steaming them 10 feet past the hole and three putting every hole, then we could have safely wrapped that one up and said, that's not going to work out and let's forget about it. However, as weird as it felt and as uncomfortable as it felt, I did feel like I struck better putts on the hole.
And that's what it sounded like. It sounded like, from what you described, that you hit better putts.
Yeah.
Putting right-handed than left-handed. So, I think there's something in that. I mean, certainly, 5, 6, and then you mentioned 9. You felt were better putts, and on the 5th hole, that birdie putt that you hit from what was it, about 15 feet?
Yeah,
you said on the
bit more
par
than that. It was probably about 18 feet or 20 feet or something. Yeah, maybe it was 100 feet. I don't know.
So for that, to hit a good putt from that distance on, and Dubbo's got pretty good greens and fairly speedy greens. For to get the pace right, get the line right, and for it to go in at a good speed in the middle of the hole, I mean, that says something.
Definitely what it says to me is that it is worth pursuing, testing and practicing just to see if I can get it to a point where it feels a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
It could be something to do. Absolutely. The other thing that I was thinking, and Andy Walker, I'm interested in your thoughts on this, and Pilgrims, please feel free to chime in on the Facebook page. Famously, I have only been carrying 13 clubs in my bag for a while. Yes. And I'd been wondering about the 14th club.
Two putters?
Yeah.
It is, I have thought about this, not so much left and right-handed, more so broomy and short putter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because for
the long distance ones using the short putter and then,
because, the traditional sort of thought process is that for long putts, the short putter is better for distance control. And then for shorter putts, the broomy comes into its own. So yes, that's definitely so. Given that putting is, well, it's not half the game, but it's 35 to 40% of the game, depending on
in regulation golf, it should be half the game.
Well, it's not, and we've covered that before, and let's not go down that line again. But certainly, given it takes such a big part of the game, having one club allocated to putting
seems wasteful.
Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
It's like playing with one iron.
Yeah.
It's crazy talk. But just bear with me on this one, and I want you to, close your eyes and imagine that you're in this situation and you're standing on the first tee, and you don't know who you're playing with on the day. Like you matched up with a bunch of randoms. Maybe it's a tournament. Who knows? So you're standing there on the first tee, waiting to meet your playing partners, and this guy rocks up. And you look at his bag, because people tend to do that. You look at his bag and you go, oh, that's interesting. There's 2 putters in there.
Yep.
And then you look a little bit closer and you go, one of them's right-handed and one of them's left-handed. And so you pluck up the courage and you go, hey, are you carrying someone else's putter for them that they've lost or something? And then I go, oh, no, I play 2 putters. And you go, oh, but one of them's left-handed and one of them's right-handed. You go, yeah, I do. I play a left-handed putter and a right-handed putter, and depends on how I'm feeling at the time.
Well, it's interesting because what you could then do is on right to left breaks.
And that's the thing, right?
Yeah, you can putt right-handed, and then left to right breaks, you putt left-handed.
So you've never got a slider.
Yeah, I like it.
Could be onto something.
I really like that idea.
Could be onto something here.
Yeah.
And how about that? You take both putters onto the green, read the putt, discard one of them.
Yeah. Well, people do that with chips, right?
Yeah,
They'll
take a couple of wedges.
A couple of wedges.
There's nothing wrong with this.
No.
So what would you do though? Like say you've got the, you've picked the right putter, you've picked the right break, you hit it past the hole. Do you then change putters because it's breaking the other way coming back?
Well, if it breaks enough, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
If you've got a slider back the other way, then yeah, you change to the alternate hand for sure.
Mm. It's not psychopathic at all.
No, it's not actually, and it's because I've looked at it from a length perspective, right?
Yeah,
and that logically makes sense to me.
Yeah,
that to carry multiple putters, but given I use a broomy for short putts, and the longer for longer putts use a short putter, and I've thought about that a lot. Never actually done it, but have thought about it a lot. So coming at it rather than from a length perspective, coming at it from a slope perspective, it's sort of the same thought process, just applied slightly differently. And I like it. I actually really like it.
You like it? Okay.
Yeah.
What about if we did both and you carried 4 putters?
What, two broomies and
a left-handed broomie, a right-handed broomie for those shorter ones that are the sliders, and then a left-handed short putter, right-handed short putter for the longer ones that might be a slider.
Well, at the end of the day, it's still you're only allocating 4 clubs. So you're actually allocating less percentage of your bag in clubs to putters than what you have. So again, makes perfect sense.
Yeah, just carry 4 putters out onto the green.
That'd be weird. You'd get some strange looks.
As if you wouldn't with 2.
Looks. Well, yeah. But I mean, there's been guys and girls, I'm assuming, who chip left-handed. So you've got to, if you chip left-handed, you've got to take a left-handed wedge with you. So is it that different to taking a left-handed wedge out?
I do that all the time.
Wedge as you would be.
Who's to know? Pilgrims, love to hear your thoughts on the matter. If you're still with us after this debate, it's a bit out there. But these are the things that we do to try and uncover the missing links to golf. And maybe this is one of them. Who's to know?
We've started a movement.
Have we, though? You need a first follower for a movement.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like we've got that yet.
Well, I mean, we've got the cult leader in yourself. Obviously, you've gone out there and you're breaking new ground. You're out there setting the path. So all we need is someone to follow, and the tidal wave will just come after that.
You would think so. You would definitely.
Or is it a tsunami rather than a tidal wave?
It could be. Yep. To all our friends named Sue out there, it could be. Wow. Well, there you go, Andy Walker. That's been my adventure, trying to unlock some putting secrets. See how we go.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. So because and I was going to come back to it, but from a ball striking perspective, it sounds like you actually hit the ball relatively well. What did you hit? 6 greens in reg, was it?
Would have been about that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I counted, but yeah, I was sort of counting while also trying to listen to what you're doing with your putting. So.
Yeah, and I think what was actually quite interesting about it is because I think part of the benefit is I wasn't really thinking about that. It was just hitting shots and trying to get to the green so that I could putt. So I wasn't really overthinking any of the shots tee to green, but definitely my iron striking was really good. The drives, I don't think I hit a good drive all round, but most of them were in play. A little bit squirrely cut here and there, and that sort of thing. But irons was flushing. So
and what sort of made me start thinking about it was when you were talking about 8 and you hit a 5 iron, into the middle of the green, and I mean that's not an easy green to hit. It's quite narrow there at the front.
It is. I lie. Hit a 4 iron. Sorry,
right.
Hit a 4 iron because it was 177 meters to the flag. and I probably came up.
I mean, for
15,
five iron, 4
shots.
iron.
Yeah.
I guess the point is that to rip a 4 iron into the middle of the green, yeah, you must have been hitting it relatively well. I mean, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, it was a good strike. So like I'd hit the par 3 fifth. I hit a good 9 iron to the centre of the green, which is all I was really trying to do because I was obviously not aiming at flags because I was happy to be putting from anywhere. I was just trying to hit greens.
Yep.
There's something to be said for that as well, to be honest. So I hit a really good 9 iron there. I hit my drive on 6 had collected an overhanging branch on the left side of the fairway there. It was in some really deep rough. So I was probably about a 9 iron distance, but I took an 8 iron and just gave it an easy swing out of the rough. Then that was going straight at the pin. That was a really good shot. The 7 iron on 7 was probably the best of the round. That, was right on and perfect distance. And then, the 4 iron on 8 was good. The only poor one really was the approach on 9, where I had a little bit of a kind of an iffy lie in the rough, but wasn't really rough. It was more sort of dirt, rough, dirt, kind of that scratchy stuff under the trees. And that just kind of came off club a bit funny, went in the front right bunker. But other than that, the missed greens was actually more to do with probably drives being a little bit wayward and meaning that I couldn't go up the flag or couldn't go up the green for the second when that happened for those couple. But all in all, actually, ball striking was really good. Good.
So and have you been doing anything in the high performance center? Or is it just you feel as though that there's a few things just coming together all at once?
I haven't really had much of an opportunity to do a lot in the high performance center, to be honest. And what I have been doing has just been the nearest the pin contests, setting the distance between
with the wedge.
Yeah, setting the distance between 20 to 80 meters, and randomizing. That's all sorts of fun. Like honestly, that's a great feature on the Square launch monitor. That's really, really useful.
Yeah, and I quite enjoyed that, but the frustrating part for me about that is you could only go in 10-meter increments, whereas I find that when I've switched now over to Awesome Golf, and the Awesome Golf software, it allows you to set a pin, and it's not randomized, but it's to the meter. You can it goes in 1 meter increments rather than the 10 meters. So I find that to be better for me, but I really enjoyed the nearest the pin module in the Square launch monitor, and I think that if they got that down to being able to set it to the meter, I think it'd be brilliant.
Look, I would expect that future software updates will probably do that.
Yeah,
because that's all that is. But it's what's interesting though is it's a different. I think it's accessing a different part of your brain as well when you're doing it, because I think when you're out on the course and say you've got a pitch that you've got to hit that's 45 metres, for argument's sake, visually seeing where the flag is, that distance from you, you kind of can get a bit of a body feel of, I've got to hit it that far, like it's to that location. And even though you might know the number, oftentimes you might not, because you know that it's a finesse or feel shot. It's not like a full swing where you're choosing the right club to hit at that distance. So quite often you might just go, I've got to hit it to that place there that I can see that it feels like it's about that far. You should probably measure the distance, but even so, there's still a lot of visual feel that goes on. When you're with the launch monitor and it says you're 35 metres to the pin, well, you can't see that distance, right? So you've got to be able to go, what does a 35 metre pitch feel like? How far back do I take the club? How hard do I hit it? And I think doing that and forcing yourself to do that gives you a much greater understanding of your distance control with your wedges than just visually doing it. Similarly, I've found with putting, because on the nearest the pin function, you can obviously putt the ball out as well to make it a full up and down experience. And I do enjoy that. But like similarly is you'll get onto the green and then it'll say, you're 6 metres from the flag. Well, what does a 6 metre putt feel like, right?
Yeah.
Because again, usually you're basing your distance on you can see the hole, so you can physically calibrate. But to try and do that just numerically. It's actually quite difficult because you're putting it into the impact screen as well, and at a different pace because it's bobbling on the other AstroTurf and stuff like that. So it's engaging. I think it's engaging probably the other side of the brain that's a bit more analytical, perhaps.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I found, leaving the launch monitor aside, just hitting full shots into a net gives you a much better, I guess, understanding of the feel for the different positions you are in your swing. And I've found that my understanding of what I'm doing in my swing has greatly improved. Because I was, a big practicer, but it was always on the range, and I would always notice, obviously, flight, where my ball was going, distance, and sort of how it felt off the club face. But I was never great. And I used to listen to what Tiger said about how he felt and understood where he was in the swing. And I never really had that. But since I've had the high performance center, and of course you're not actually watching where the ball finishes, my understanding of where I am in the swing has just improve dramatically. So I found that to be really good as well. So I can swing in the high performance center, and I can tell you where a shot went. Whereas at the start, I sort of knew whether I hit it well or not, but not necessarily exactly what the shot shape was going to be. Whereas now, I could almost tell you, exactly where it was going.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Rory, before he won the Masters, spent quite a bit of time in the Irish High Performance Centre deliberately to not look at ball flight.
Correct. Yeah, that's exactly what he was doing.
If it's good enough for Rory, I feel like it's probably good enough for us.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, no, that's quite interesting, and it's true though. Like I think you're engaging a different relationship with your swing than when you're just looking at the ball flight and the result.
Yeah,
which I think's been helpful. And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that rubs off on. Even though I've really only been doing wedges in there, but I'm sure that rubs off on the other irons. Just kind of grooving in emotion.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe not so much driver.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing is that I've now got that because I've spent a fair bit of time in there with my wedges as well. My wedge play, from 100 meters, from that sort of 40 meters to 100 meters, has just improved dramatically.
So important
over the last 2 or 3 years. It's just been, it's actually been quite staggering how different I feel when I'm standing over a 60 or 70 meter pitch.
That's good. I mean, that makes a massive difference, and that's what I'm aiming for. That's what I really want to get to because it's been a problem area for me.
Yep.
Very good.
Oh, good. It's all heading in the right direction.
It is. Like. It is. I think it is. I think there's more to come on the left v right scenario. I will drop a couple of videos in the Facebook group. I'll try and pull, if I can edit a few together, I might even drop it on YouTube as well, just for people to have a bit of a look at. And I'd love, I'd love you all to have a look at it and tell me what you think. Even though you're right, it's a worm's eye view. The camera was set up sort of behind the hole on a very, very low little tripod. So you don't see a lot, particularly on the longer putts, but I think you do get a bit of a gist for the roll of the ball.
Yeah, and that's where you can really see a difference because you can see all the bobbles and the like with the roll of the ball from that angle.
And you can see whether or not the line's standing up or the line's a bit scrambled, and quite often it's scrambled. But anyway, there you go. One thing I do want to talk to you about, Andy Walker, before we wrap up, was the tournament was played over the weekend, which I know to be your favourite tournament, which is the Wasted Management Phoenix Open.
Yep.
Did you get to see much of that?
I actually didn't. I watched a little bit of round 2 and round 3. I didn't watch the last round. I did obviously see the last part with Hideki and what happened with him, which it was a bit of a shame, I think, to finish like that. But I didn't really watch the last round. No.
There was a bit of controversy. I don't know if you saw this. So Hideki, he had the lead basically coming into the last hole. All he needed to do was par the hole and he would win.
Yep.
He had not hit any fairways. I think maybe 2 fairways through his entire final round. His driver was super wayward. Shows you how good his short game is. So anyway, he pulled...
Well, like iron play. And that's his iron play is just unbelievably good.
Yeah. So he hit his drive left, got over the water on 18, but in the church pew bunkers.
Yep.
Thinned his approach, which clipped one of the church pews and just rolled up. And fortunately stayed on the fairway and didn't go in the rough. Pitched on, and he was, what would he have been, 20 feet maybe?
Yeah, a little bit further than that, I think, but yeah.
To make the putt to win.
Yep.
He stands over the putt, about to pull the trigger, and some absolute clown in the crowd shouts something out to him just as he's about to take the putter back. So he stands up. To his credit, didn't blow up, got back into his process, made a good putt, just missed. So goes to a playoff with Chris Goddard back on the 18th tee. Hideki's at the top of his swing in transition, and allegedly at this point a security guard drops a chair and it clangs on one of the metal walkways, and he Tiger Woods-esque stops his downswing. I don't know how he did it.
Yep. It's of course like he pauses for 5 seconds.
Potentially that's it. He'd actually started to come down though when it happened, and he paused. It was remarkable. And then got back in a position and played his shot, and unfortunately he hit it in the water, and that really nailed it. Goddard made birdie anyway. He played a fantastic hole, so deserved winner. It's not the point, but I just think, what are the chances? And what's going on with clowns like that in the crowd? He may never have made the putt, not suggesting that necessarily changed the outcome. But sportsmanship, people, sportsmanship, what's going on? Interested in your thoughts.
And my thoughts around this haven't changed. I don't like the drunk idiot coming to golf, and that's what, and that's sort of where I see, the attraction of live, is that the vast majority of people that go to live events are blokes and they're there to get on it. Go to the footy if you're going to do that. And I know, Greg Norman's talking about, you want different people, a different crowd, and to attract as many people as you can. But those sorts of, loud, drunk, idiot types of behavior are going to drive more people away from the game and more spectators away from the game than, what you're going to get from that. I mean, golf etiquette, I grew up when golf etiquette was, a really big thing, and it just seems to have all gone out the window. And it's also been a post-COVID thing as well, is that I think things have got dramatically worse post-COVID. And I don't like it. I struggle with it. I must admit, I don't like and that's, I see the Wasted Management Open sort of like a live event in that set up, and it's attracted the same sort of crowd as what a live event does. And I've told the story a couple of times on the show about my experience when I went to the Australian Open at the Australian, and it was when before they when it was still sort of the men and women sort of played at the same time. And I was standing on the 15th green at the Australian, and Minjee Lee was putting out, and there were some drunk idiots in the crowd. And what they said to her, and I won't repeat what they said to her, but it was embarrassing. And she was all class, and she smiled and putted out and didn't say anything, didn't react, and I don't know how she didn't.
Well, she knows that reacting is only going to ruin her own game, isn't it? They're not worth it.
Better human than what I am, because I would have said something. But she was all class and went on her way. But I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed for them, and I was embarrassed as a bloke.
Mm. Mm.
I just don't think we need it in golf. As I said, go to the footy if you're going to do that sort of stuff, but don't come to golf.
Critics would say you're old-fashioned. And,
traditional, old-fashioned, absolutely, 100%.
Bit of a stick in the mud.
Well, I don't know about that. Is etiquette, is respect, is class a stick in the mud? I mean, is that where we're going? Is that where we're going as a collective human community?
I think you know the answer to that at the moment.
Yeah,
when you look around the news channels.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, I don't like it. I grew up in a time where respect was a thing.
Mm.
And it just doesn't seem to be that way in, tolerance, listening to others, trying to hear and listen to another person's point of view and understand where they're coming from. Of course, you may actually learn something.
Mm.
That doesn't seem to be a thing. It's very, today's society is very polarizing, and it's my way or the highway. And I've never operated like that.
Yeah. So, a lot to ponder on with that, no doubt. I do think, just to come back to your earlier point, that the wasted management is a bit like a live event. I actually feel like the live events are better behaved than the Phoenix Open in a lot of times. And whilst we're on the live topic, Elvis Smiley picking up a cool $7 million on...
It's not bad for his first week.
On his first outing. One and done right there, Elvis. What a remarkable effort. That was incredible.
It'll be interesting to see where he goes and certainly where Liv goes, because now with the Koepka and Patrick Reed are coming back to the PGA Tour, it's going to be interesting to see where Liv goes, because you look at Cam Smith, for instance, and obviously Cam, he's made his choice and he seems to be really happy with the choice, and he's got a great lifestyle, and that's great. I'm really happy for him that he's living out the life that he wants to. But certainly from a golf performance perspective, his game has sort of come back a little bit or a lot. It'll be interesting to see where Elvis Smiley's game goes, whether he kicks on, because he's got some serious potential to make some inroads in majors and some pretty big tournaments. So it'll be interesting to see what his future looks like.
No, I totally agree with that. And I would actually say on that topic that the departure of Brooks Koepka and Patrick Reed, I actually don't think is a blip on the radar for Liv, because there's so many other people that are coming in that will fill those voids. Obviously, they're two big names, but at the end of the day, they're golfers. They are replaceable to a degree. I think the biggest change and the thing that's going to have the biggest impact on Liv Golf is the recent introduction of world rankings points for the top 10.
And obviously the 72 holes as well.
Which they had to do to get world ranking points. So for the top 10 to get world rankings points, and Elvis Smiley jumped into the top 100 off the back of his win in Riyadh.
Yep.
So I think that now adds a whole new element to the competitiveness in the mindset for the players, more so than just the enormous paychecks, when they already all had enormous amounts of money anyway. And playing for pride's one thing, but now that they've got genuine pathways to get back into majors, I think that changes the game substantially. I really do.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting to see where that goes and how competitive the Liv guys end up being, because some of them have been competitive, and obviously Bryson won a US Open a year or so back, and Brooks Koepka won the PGA after he moved across to Liv. But apart from that, a lot of the Liv golfers haven't really been that competitive in the majors. So
the obvious ones are Cam Smith and John Rahm, to be honest. They've significantly underperformed from where they were before they made the switch.
And Mark Leishman to a degree. I mean, Mark Leishman was competitive in quite a few of the Masters tournaments, and he hasn't been. Well, he got into the British Open or the Open Championship last year for the first time, I think, since he's gone to live. So that's a little bit of a shame, because I thought Leash was going to win a major at some stage. But again, he seems to be really happy with the decision he's made. Gets to spend a fair bit of time at home with his family. And yeah, if he's at ease and comfortable with what he's done, then that's great for him. I've got no issue with that decision at all.
Yep. No, everyone makes their own call, and hopefully they make the right ones. But the live show rolls on to Adelaide this weekend, so Lucas, I believe, probably he'll be down there. I think it's at his home club, didn't he say?
Oh, did he?
I think so. I think he said that.
Okay.
I think that's why he was struggling to get out for a round.
Yeah, right.
So,
okay.
Anyway, there you go.
Well, they're building at North Adelaide. They're in the process of designing and going to start building a specific live golf course. Greg Norman's in the process now of going through the plans and talking to I think it's the mayor of Adelaide, and yeah, they're gonna set up a pretty decent facility at the North Adelaide golf course, apparently.
Well, sounds exciting. We look forward to hearing all about it in future episodes. And next week, Andy Walker, I think we're going to hear a special update from you on something that you won't tell me about. Is that right?
Correct. No, I've made a little discovery.
Okay. In
my swing, and I sent you a little clip. Oh, it's probably a month or so, maybe 6 weeks ago now, which I went back and had a look at that and made some comparisons with my own swing, and yeah, made I think some foundational discoveries with that comparison, and I've sort of tested a little bit. I said I haven't had a lot of time to do practice, but I think it's going to be fairly large when it comes to the pathway that I take with my swing over the next 12 months.
Well, I can't wait to hear about you talking us through your switch to playing golf left-handed in the next episode.
It is not that.
I thoroughly look forward to it. But, well, Pilgrims, I think that's pretty much us done for this episode. And
I think so.
There's been a lot in that. The quest to find out if I'm left or right-handed when putting continues. And whilst I'm doing that, Andy Walker, any advice for everyone else?
Oh, look, I mentioned it briefly last week, but 2 nights' time, this time in 2 nights, going to be at Accor Stadium listening to Ed Sheeran, and am definitely going to take my own advice and rock out, Pilgrims.
Nice. Thanks for listening to us today. We love hearing from our pilgrims, so please reach out to us through any of the links in the show notes. We know golf is hard, so we hope we can help you shoot better scores and inspire you to keep trying. Rock on, pilgrims.